Welcome to this video on Michael Morales. Obviously a great win against Gilbert Burns last night in the UFC. And I think after that fight, getting into really a top 5 fight, I think he might be top 6, top 7, but he will be going for pretty much a fight before maybe even a title. Maybe even a title with... it might be harder with Makhachev likely coming up or pretty much confirmed coming up and facing JDM, Belal Muhammad being involved as well, Rakhmonov being there as well. So, okay, it may be 2 fights before a title shot, and they'll be tough fights, but has really shown he's definitely in that top 5 conversation at least at current. So I just wanted to go through a few fights of his, really his main fights he's had that have really shown how good he is and how he has improved to the point of now beating Gilbert Burns and where I think he'll go in the future. So getting into the first fight I've really broke down is Morales versus Jake Matthews. Obviously Jake Matthews is a very tough fighter, good on the feet, good overall really, but great on the feet, good combos, good chin, and it was a tough fight for both exchanging, both getting touched by the punches. I think Michael Morales came out slightly better in the exchanges, but really Jake Matthews gave him a quite a tough task, and keeping Jake at range should have been the main plan. It didn't happen. Sometimes it started getting into a brawl in parts where they were just firing off shots, and sometimes they left himself open to get punched. But look, he did well. Great power to really stop a dominant walking forward performance from Jake Matthews. That is very strong. Kicks doing well as well for Morales, using that length to try and kick out the legs of Jake Matthews and to get into the exchange. A tough fight, but to stay up even with some of the shots he took it, and to get to the final bell, winning it against Jake Matthews sometimes is the best you could do with the guy with that type of chin where, look, he in that fight at least he was never going to get knocked down. I think it was very tough. It had to be a real perfect shot to get him down. He was up for it. His chin was tucked. He just made it difficult to get knocked out. And yes, he went for it, but he stayed defensively sound throughout. So I think a strong fight. I think it really showed how through a tough fight even, and when he's still learning, because he's a young guy. I think he's 25, 26 maybe. I think he is 25, but 25 years old. In a Jake Matthews fight, he would have been younger than that, 23, 24. So I think he was 23 actually. So 23 years old, going in there and beating a Jake Matthews, by decision is no easy feat, and I think it's an incredible showing from himself of what he could really do in the future. On to the next key fight, I think, is Neil Magny. A tough fighter for any fighter in the welterweight division. Neil Magny, a great fighter, some great wins, and is in that I think top 15, top 10 conversation at least. So at least top 15, in and around the top 10 I'd say. And there was a fight against a really well-known fighter in that top 15, and was Neil Magny was doing well. Morales went in there though and good leg kicks early on, and when sort of the question marks around how would he defend takedowns really was a key one. How would he defend takedowns if he had success and Magny tried to get him down to the ground? Well, he got against the cage. Magny had his sort of back and was trying to probably go for a trip or something, but goes for a spinning elbow, and a great takedown defense before that to actually stay up, and then just smashed him on the ground and got an incredible win. No easy feat when you touch someone like that with a spinning elbow. They're already halfway across the cage. Normally it'd be very tough for you to get the finish there. And he did, he got down to the ground and pound, but did it with success and did great damage. Wasn't just firing off and missing constantly, or Neil Magny just dragging him back down. He was doing it well. He was making sure the shots he fired got through, and secondly did damage to hurt Magny and then finished the fight there. There wasn't much to see, but what we saw was incredible. The takedown defense was there, which was key. It was a key knowledge. The leg kicks were good. They were very strong. It meant that Magny went for a takedown, going, look, this guy on the stand up, even though I'm a big guy too, a long guy as well with the reach. I don't want to be standing up with this guy, and the ground game is is probably where I'm going to win for Magny. And he gets a spinning elbow off a break when he was on his back, which is just an incredible feat to catch someone of that level with that type of move. It really showed his ability, ever improving from even the Jake Matthews fight. We saw an improvement against Sam Magny, which was incredible. On to last night's fight, Gilbert Burns versus Morales. Obviously, feeding out early, using the reach advantage to avoid Burns' attacks and just get out of the way of them. He knows Burns is dangerous. He knows he's fought with Chimaev and went to a decision with Chimaev, and it parts Burns was winning. He's doing very well, and he probably, I would say, one of the best performances from an opponent of Chimaev we've ever seen. I think that is key. I think Burns was there, doing well, was getting Chimaev hurt in moments and making him rethink what he's doing and thinking, that was the key one where people went, is Chimaev human? He's getting a real tough fight from Gilbert Burns, but obviously went on to now a title shot against Duplessis now, and it's done incredibly well throughout, showing Burns' level, really an incredible fighter. So Morales, trying to avoid them shots. He knows how dangerous he is. How well is he done against these top level guys? Also moving side to side to get in range. So basically what he was doing, staying out of range, moving sort of right, and just using his amazing level of reach to basically hook at Burns when he couldn't even touch him going forward. So it was great. You could see it coming. You could see these shots that he's thrown. They're very long, very wide hooks coming in. And you could see them over and over again touching Burns or just hitting his hand and going, well, these are firstly powerful. And you could hear that. And secondly, look, some of these are actually getting through. And if they hit him in the right place, he's gone. And what was Burns really throwing back? He was trying to throw, but Morales was always out of the way of them shots. And just great placement at the end of the day. Morales gets taken down, but good ability to get back up quickly. So another thing about, he was good defensively, but did get taken down. Burns isn't a slouch in that area. He will get takedowns. And look, he managed to get straight back up, which was brilliant. And then basically went straight into the big long hook again and stopped Burns on the ground, really. So it was great. It was an incredible shot. He then went off a bit more, and Burns started dropping, getting back up, getting hit again, dropping again, and then finally he got stopped on the ground. And there was enough seen. There wasn't. Once you get dropped twice, you're trying to get back up. You're not really getting back up because you're getting hit with punches as you try and do. And you can see sort of eyes are rolling back his head, but he's trying to get up again because it's just a natural movement for a fighter to do so. And it's sort of that point of going, well, we've seen enough. You're not intelligently in defending yourself there. And a great win. I think that's one of the best wins I've seen against Burns of recent times especially. So, look, that's an incredible display. I think it will definitely make him, if I think about it, top 7. I think Burns is top 7 currently, so it definitely makes him top 7. I'd even given him top 6, top 5, but it is a very stacked division. You've got people like Ian Gary in there as well. You've got Bilal, you've got Gary, Rachmanov, JDM. That's 4 straight off the bat. And you've got probably an Usman in there, you've got a Buckley in there somewhere. So, look, he's probably going to be a top 7 guy. But do I think he probably is going to beat a couple of the guys in that top 6, top 5? Yes, I do think he is. I think he is a top 5 fighter at current, according to my rankings of going who is the best fighters currently. I think he is. I think he'll be looking for a top 5 fight next. I think he needs another fight after that to probably get a title shot. But no, incredible display. His reach is a real big problem for anyone. I think from people taking him down, he has got the defence, but also that reach is going to be a real big problem for anyone to get past. I think Burns was struggling. Magny was struggling early with the reach problems that Morales gives you, and the power he's got as well for that length. It's a real big problem where people just want to try and take him down. I think he has definitely improved his takedown defence along the way. I think the key thing is his next fight. I think, look, if you think about the top 5, I think he beats an Usman. I think, in my opinion, he beats a Sean Brady. And very dependent on how Bilal plays it. If he goes for a takedown, Yes, he probably wins. On the ground, I don't see Morales winning against Bilal, but could do. Them arms are long, which doesn't help him for an armbar or something like that. But on the other side of things, does he go for the takedown? You know, in his JDM fight, how many takedowns did he get? How did he really push it? I got JDM 4 rounds to 1, and that's really by pure striking. In a striking fight, I think he wins. I think he definitely wins against the Bilal. The reach is way too strong against a Bilal type stature, and I think he wins it. So there is a question mark around Bilal, but I think he gets it done if Bilal keeps fighting how he does in his most recent fights. I think tough ones. I think that really that are very tough. Buckley, Edwards, tough fights. Both strikers, both very good. But I think he may even get the win. I think I give him the win on both. I think I do. I think Buckley's better than Usman. I think we'll see that soon in their fight. I think Edwards, I think he gets beaten by that guy. I think Morales is coming in with a lot of confidence. Edwards coming in with no confidence at all. And Edwards, I've never seen a fighter, onto a different topic, with so much need of confidence in his fights. He has to have confidence to win. He has none, and it does show in every fight he's had recently, where after losses, he can't come back. He can't come back from it. So that's a tough one, but I think he gets both of them done. I think Rakhmonov beats him. I think that's clear. And I think JDM, it's a very tough fight because it's very, very good strikers. JDM's very good, very strong, very powerful, very good at getting in range. But look, that's also a fight that I think Morales may even win. I think Rakhmonov's the only one in the top 5 currently who he actually, I put on paper, Rakhmonov beats him quite well. The rest of them, JDM, I think it's a tough fight between two of them. The rest of them, I think he beats. I would say he wins that. The confidence being a key thing as well against some of these guys who have lost. They're still in the top 5, but they have lost. They've lost their mojo. You know, your Usman types where they've been at the top, they're going down sort of thing. They're just trying to keep up there, but they're still good fighters, but not what they were before. I think Morales is an amazing fighter who's going into that top 5 very soon with a very strong mindset and a lot of confidence and a great great stature. Not many people are blessed with the reach and stuff he's got, but also use it like he does to give him the best advantage possible. And I think he's going to be one of the next real title contenders we see who is really going after a Makhachev or someone like that, probably. And that would be an incredible fight because the reach advantage would be so strong, but Makhachev's so good at getting takedowns and getting people to the ground. Look, I think maybe Makhachev wins that as well. I think that's a tough one, but look, he probably does. He does find a way to get into the ground. But yeah, I think a great fighter. I think he's going to be top 5. I think he's going to do incredibly well as a title fighter, contender at least, going for a title shot. At least getting into a fight for a title shot as well. And I think he's going to show some of these guys who are sort of up there trying to rest and just trying to go, I'm happy where I am. I'm not instantly going for a over 5 rounds, getting a finish here. It's sort of like JDM did against Bilal. He made sure he tried to get the finish even when he was rounds up. I think he's going to show something. Look, you have to go for it. If you don't, I'm going to win this. I'm going to make sure I win it, because how much work does he put in? Even Jake Matthews, you saw in the last round, he's going for the final. I know that it was close, but he's going for the finish. He's going to get them shots off. He's trying to win rounds all the time. You see it in every one of his fights. The end of the round comes, especially in the Jake Matthews fights that I keep going back to. He keeps going for okay, look, last 10 seconds, I've got to throw shots. I've got to get this win. I've got to get them judges on side going, you won them last 10 seconds, which, it is a key thing for some judges. He knows how to win rounds on the judges' scorecards, and I think that is very key for a fighter to understand. Look, I think he is going to be one of, if not the best. He's going to be top 3. I can see it happening. I can see top 3 happening. He's only 25, so he's got time to do so. But even then, he's already going to be top 7. So, he needs to learn, he needs to take his time. But look, against these guys at the top, some of them are going to fall out because they're older. But I don't see guys coming up that are like him. I don't see that level of he's the one guy really coming out of the woodwork. Please let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I think he's an incredible fighter. And love to see him, someone so young, do so well in the sport and get up so far and fight really top opponents. And that is key. He's doing incredibly well to fight them real tough opponents on the come up. And that's what we love to see. That makes people interested in your fights because you've got a resume already. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.